What's happening? Some good news. This judge right here, Judge William Alsup, he just put the brakes on Elon Musk and Donald Trump's bullshit firing. Check it out.
Just in the past few minutes, a federal judge ordered half a dozen federal agencies to immediately reinstate probationary employees fired last month. The firings are part of the Trump administration's effort to rapidly shrink the federal workforce. The judge says he might extend the order to cover other federal agencies at a later time. He says he believes the Office of Personnel Management unlawfully directed the agencies to lay off those probationary employees.
Just ruled the Trump administration must immediately reinstate thousands of probationary employees who were fired last month from a half dozen federal agencies. Senior reporter Catherine Falters joins me now to tell us what we know. Catherine.
Yeah, Kira, this is a big deal from a federal judge out in California who essentially issued this scathing rebuke of the Trump administration as it has to do with those nearly 20,000 probationary workers who were fired. Probationary workers are workers who have worked in the government for a short period of time, 1 to 2 years, and following multiple agencies terminating them. The judge says that they didn't follow the proper process, that they've unlawfully terminated these workers because they've said that this was for performance reasons. He said that in a lot of cases, they were not terminated for performance reasons, that they didn't follow the process established in federal law. The judge said that the government used, quote, lies and gimmicks to unlawfully terminate these workers. He's ordered them immediately
Lies and gimmicks. Don't that sound familiar with Donald Trump? Lies and gimmicks.
Stated. It will be a bit of a process. How this happens, if they're walking into their buildings today, is a bit unclear. But the judge has ordered these government agencies to essentially produce a report in the coming days. Each individual agency needs to essentially say they need to notify all employees that they're reinstated. They have to identify everybody who was fired and who was a probationary worker. So it is a big ruling, and I'm sure a lot of these, obviously, these outside groups who represent federal workers are applauding the judge's actions. Of course, this can still be appealed by the government, which we do expect.
All right, so we're talking about Veterans Affairs, Department of Agriculture, Department of Defense, Department of Energy, Department of Treasury. Trump and Musk probably are going to appeal, right? So what would that look like?
Yeah, exactly. They sure will. I don't believe the government has filed a notice of appeal yet, but I could expect the Department of Justice to do that, I'm sure, in the coming hours. So they will appeal. It's possible that an appeals court could issue a stay and that this could be paused. But again, this will be a process. It will play out. So they will likely do that. And then we will hear from the court, the higher court, on whether or not.
Yeah, let's appeal something that we did is not legal. What kind of sense does that make? Illegally firing people, just out the blue. Hey, you're fired. Donald Trump's what was that show he was on? The Apprentice. Hey, hey, Elon, you want to play Apprentice for a day? You're fired. Just go and say like you're fired without any reason. Yeah, go ahead. Be a tough guy. Here's another one. There's that judge right there, William Alsup. He is a Democrat. He goes back, I think, to the 60s.
Order the Trump administration to reinstate probationary workers let go in mass firings across multiple agencies. Let's bring in CBS News Department of Justice reporter Jake Rosen. Jake, tell us what happened here.
Well, that's right. There was a hearing today in a lawsuit filed by a bunch of union groups representing these government workers who have sued the Office of
Let's hear it for the union. Yes. Let's hear it for the union. I'm a union man. My union was right down there. See that? Teamster. Local number 8. Teamster Local Number 8 was my union.
Management, which was the group of government, or the government agency, which led the charge on firing a lot of these probationary workers. And in the hearing today, it was expected that potentially the acting head of the OPM would show up and give testimony. That did not happen, and the hearing devolved after the government and the government attorney who was arguing basically did not have many answers. So the judge at the end of the hearing ruled that the firings were illegal, that OPM did not have the authority to do that.
Illegal.
And that in the 6 agencies, which includes the Department of Defense, Department of Veterans Affairs, Department of Agriculture, Interior, Energy, and Treasury, are all ordered to be offered to be reinstated. Now, that offer is obviously complicated because a lot of these people have turned in their government devices. There are no offices for a lot of these people to go to, especially in the case of some of these groups who have had their offices shut down or who were told to not go to work. But we'll have to see exactly how this is implemented, but this impacts thousands of government employees across the government who were sued. These are probationary employees who were working for the government for less than a year.
And these people were only off the job for a week or so. They were told they were let go, right?
Yeah, these people were fired February 13th and February 14th, and I just want to read you a very striking quote from the judge who at one point basically called the government's arguments today a sham. He said, "It's a sad day when our government would fire some good employee and say it was based on performance when they know good and well that that's a lie. This should not be done in our country. It was a sham in order to avoid statutory requirements." Basically, this judge accused the government of using OPM, a government vehicle, to fire all these employees instead of actually doing it at the agency level, which he said was necessary. He also said these employees did not have the proper due process to appeal their claims, and said that the Trump's firing of the agency head, who would actually oversee any administrative complaints that these employees had, was fired too. So basically, these employees were left with no recourse to try to save their jobs, and today a judge did that for them, at least temporarily.
A bunch of
it's messy
jackasses.
All right, Dick Rosen, thanks for following it for us.
That's that Jub Alsup again. It's interviewing a guy that was.
Felton, thank you for letting us come into your home and to go back 60 years. So we have a lot of people out there who would like to hear some of your memories of that time. It's March today, March 7th. 2024. And we're in the home of Felton Henderson in Berkeley. And we are going to take a visit back into time. We'll start at June 11, 1963. And 3 things happened on that day is the reason I want to take you back there and then get your memories. First, on that day, the University of Alabama was integrated for the first time. Vivian Malone and James Hood were admitted. They were both African Americans, both admitted. George Wallace stood in the doorhouse way and yielded to the greater pressure, force, and authority of the federal government. Mm-hmm. Your friend, Deputy Attorney General Katzenbach, led the way, National Guard behind him. That was on June 11th. That evening, President Kennedy went on national TV and made what I think is his best domestic policy speech. It was on the issue of civil rights. And he said quite a number of things. He called for the passage of a civil rights bill. He said, in part, I'll just read 2 sentences. It ought to be possible, in short, for every American to enjoy the privileges of being an American without regard to his race or his color. In short, every American ought to have the right to be treated as he would wish to be treated, as one would wish his children to be treated. But this is not the case. One of his best speeches.
It was.
The third thing is the terrible assassination that evening of Medgar Evers. Mm-hmm. You know a lot about all 3 of these things. I'd like to start with where you were on June 11th, 1963, and what your memories of President Kennedy's speech.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I was with a group of lawyers from the Civil Rights Division in 1963. It's hard to believe it, but there were 37 lawyers in the Civil Rights Division then.
Anyway, guys, this Judge Alsup is a Democrat and seemed like a decent guy. This guy right here is part of history, the integration of that school. He was there. There's my union T-shirt, guys. Local 8, Teamsters. Yes, sir. Anyway, there's Judge Alsup again. Judge orders Trump administration to reinstate thousands of... Sorry, let me break this out, son. There we go. Judge orders Trump administration to reinstate thousands of fired employees at VA, Defense Department, and other agencies. And I'm just go down here to show you what he really got. He really got in their ass right here. Let's see. Well, see, this is what they lied about. They said that OPM had provided agencies with a template termination letter that called the employees' performance as the reason they were being let go. And that was a lie. This judge says that was a bold-faced lie. Where is that? Right here. See that? It's a sad day when our government will fire some good employees and say it was based on performance when they know good and well that it was a lie, he added. That should not have been done in our country. It was a sham in order to try to avoid statutory requirements. There's a whole lot of lying coming from Donald Trump, man. Come on. And Elon Nazi Musk from South Africa. He's not even, oh my, I don't even want to get started. Federal probationary employees have typically been in their positions for 1 year, but some jobs have 2-year probationary periods. But yeah, he got in there, but if you notice, a lot of these people, they're not holding back. And that's what you got to do. You got to keep it real. Tell it like it is. Because there's a lot of lies coming from Donald Trump. Here we go. I tend to doubt that you're telling the truth. The decision came after Alsup unloaded on the Justice Department for not making the acting head of the Office of Personnel Management available to testify about the Trump administration decision to the scores of probationary employees. Come on. Ain't nobody showing up. Of course not, because they know they're wrong. Why would you show up? Why would you show up if you know you're wrong and you know you're lying? Yeah, this like now all these Republican people scared to go to town meetings because people pissed. Talking about messing with Social Security and Medicaid and all that. Yeah. People ready to rise up. Take it to the streets. But the Justice Department refused to make him available and instead withdrew a declaration Ezzo submitted last month that has served as the government's only evidence in the case. You're afraid to do so because you know cross-examination will reveal the truth, Alsup told DOJ attorney Kelsey Helen. I tend to doubt that you're telling me the truth. Come on, man. I tell you what, They need to make Donald Trump go to a lie detector, and that needle be going like this. All of them. Offset told the DOJ attorney Thursday, you can't just say, here's a declaration. You have to accept it without question when there is a question. You're not helping me get at the truth. You're giving me press release sham documents, the judge said, referring to documents submitted by the DOJ to the court that they say shows how the agencies were making determination decisions themselves. The declaration from Ezel said that OPM did not direct other agencies to terminate probationary employees. The central issue is the case brought by labor unions. Yay! Union number 8. Helen pushed back strongly on the judge's assertions and argued during the hearing that the agency has sought to call their workforce on their own, not at the direction of OPM. Anyway, I respectfully disagree that we have submitted false evidence, he said at one point, adding later, decisions on these employment actions were made by these agencies and were fully endorsed by their political leadership. The Trump administration has been targeting probationary workers because they have fewer job protections and can be dismissed more easily, while they generally cannot appeal their termination to the Merit Systems Protection Board. They can if the actions stem from partisan political reasons or marriage status. Also, they are protected from prohibited personnel practices. So anyway, guys, here's another judge standing up to Donald Trump and Elon Musk bullshit and illegal firing and trying to tear the government down. Like I always said, I voted for Donald Trump. I'll admit it, but I did not vote for Elon Musk. Elon Musk is from South Africa. He knows nothing about America. Nothing. He doesn't have a clearance. He never worked for the government. Don't have no clearance. Donald Trump's supporting all his buddies and people who, they supported him and gave him money to run for president, but they don't have a clue about how the government works. They don't have a clue about, Elon Musk got his Doge goon young hackers, messing with the computer systems, trying to tear shit up. Anyway, guys, have a great day. And let's hear it for the judge again and the unions. Yes, sir. We fight, they fighting back. I hate to see people get fired, man. Especially if they don't deserve it. Peace out.